Hey, welcome, guys. We're going to wait a little bit to see if we can get somebody in the room. Doesn't look like we have anybody in here yet. Didn't do a good job of announcing this podcast, so probably the reason why. Looks like we got one person in the room. Hey, we got two people in the room. Joshua Rialto, what's going on, man? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Welcome to the American Nomad podcast. I am the American Nomad, Ralph Hawley, what is today? April 24th, 2020. We don't even know what the days are anymore, do we? It's good to see you guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I didn't do a very good job of announcing this podcast. It's just one of those things. I know I'll say right off the bat, I'll make an announcement that this looks like I'm in my office. I'm not in my office. This is a whole different setup in an entirely different place. I had to move out of my office, and I ended up moving into my boss's office, Serena. She's got a very large office, so I ended up taking a corner of her office, but I actually lost my office space, and I've been moving out for the last few days. Who else we have in here? Joshua. We have Joshua. We have three people in the room now. What's going on, guys? Good to see you. I do have a big announcement to make here. 4 people in the room. So if we can get a few more people in the room, I've got something to share with you guys. Especially if you follow me on social media. I was going to let me actually make a post here. Let me make a post here. I actually wanted to make a post on Facebook. Let me go ahead and do that. Oh, you know what I should do is just share the podcast. Let's do that. Let's share it to Facebook. Bear with me, guys. I share the podcast over here to Facebook, so if anybody's watching. Let's see if this works. I've been blocked from sharing anything on Facebook lately, so I don't know if that's going to work or not. All right, we got 2 thumbs up. Thanks, guys. We have 4 people in there, 3 people in the room. Random Nomad, what's going on, Random Nomad? Good to see you. Ambo Life, hey, good to see you guys. Devin and April, so good to see you guys. I wish I would have done a better job of announcing I was going to do the podcast today, but I've just been a little swamped with everything. So anyway, just wanted to touch base with you guys. A lot of people seen that I was MIA on Facebook and pretty much all social media for the last couple of weeks. And the reason I've been MIA, Random Nomad. The reason I have been MIA is I have been moving out of my old office because that space actually, it blows my mind, but my landlord was showing that space and he actually rented it out. So I had to move. I've been having to move out of there. And to make matters worse, I am actually dealing with COVID-19. I actually caught COVID-19. So it got me. I don't know how. I've been super, super, super careful. And basically had been on lockdown myself. I haven't been going out. I haven't been venturing out. I've just been locked down, and it got me. I don't know how it got me. I'm literally still baffled by it. I just didn't think I would be one of those people that it would get. But it definitely got me. So I've literally been under the weather and dealing with it, and just one thing after another. My phone, Amy Preston, good to see you, Amy. Good to see you. Thank you so much, Amy. So actually, my phone, the other thing is an original iPhone cable, and like a week and a half ago, I plugged my phone in and it literally caught on fire. The cable did. It started smoking. Luckily, I was sitting at my desk when I plugged it in, and out of the corner of my eye, I could just see smoke rising like a cigarette in an ashtray. And I was like, "What the heck?" And at first, when your mind just doesn't comprehend something, so my mind was just like it was thinking it was a cigarette. But then all of a sudden, it dawned on me, like, I don't smoke. I used to smoke a long time ago, but I don't smoke now. So uh, I look over and it's the cord that where it plugs into my iPhone right here. The little cord where it goes right into the iPhone was glowing red, and it was literally smoke coming off of it. Long story short, that was my only cord. And you can't just like run out to Walmart and grab one now. So I was not feeling well, so I just didn't even worry about it. I was like, well, I guess this is the universe telling me it's time for me to like just kind of disconnect from everything. So that's what I did. I actually had a couple more cords in my Snap-on truck, and I finally got out there and found one of the cords and come back to the office a couple of days after it died. And then I tried to plug it in, and that cord didn't work either. So I waited a couple more days. I knew I had one more cord in my truck, and I actually went out and got that cord, and luckily, that cord actually worked. So, and it only works on one side. So when I plugged the cord in, here it is right here. So if I plug the cord in on that one side, it doesn't work. But if I turn it over, it does work. So I don't know how long this is going to last. This phone, I bought this phone brand new in 2014. The first week that the iPhone 6s Plus come out. So it's literally on its last leg. And so the touch thing doesn't always work. So if I'm trying to text or if I'm trying to see sometimes I touch it and I have to keep touching it, and then it's stuck. You can't do anything. So I have to click this button and turn the screen off, and then turn the screen back on and click that button, and then it'll start working again. So my phone's on it's on its last leg, so it is what it is. Hey, Leah Nortz, what's going on, buddy or girl? What do you want for the Snap-on truck? Uh, I'm trying to buy a sailboat, Leah, so I would probably take 11.5 for it. 11,500. And that's really cheap because one just exactly like mine that was it was a year older, sold for 15.9, 16,000. Not that long ago. And it had more miles on it than mine did. Josh Rialto says, use rubbing alcohol on a rag and wipe on your throat. Then 91% alcohol will stop the symptoms from developing further. Don't rub the alcohol off. Let it dry naturally. Hey, man, I appreciate that, Joshua. That's good information. I'll definitely try that. Random Nomad, I still have not sold Bertha. So sadly, Apple made their phone to fail. So you'll have to, yeah. Well, the thing about it is, I know I do get that, Random Nomad, about but this phone is 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. It's 6 years old. I bought this phone. It's an iPhone 6s Plus. I bought this phone the first week they came out. I had it special ordered or whatever it is. Leah Nort says Trump says to ingest Lysol. I know. Or what else? Lysol? Or I actually prefer, what do I prefer? I actually prefer Pine Sol. I'll go with Pine Sol. You guys do the Lysol, but no, Random Nomad. I have not sold Bertha yet. Hey, Freedom Dove, good to see you, Freedom Dove. So we've got 9 people in the room. So if you're just joining me, I just wanted to let you guys know if you've been there's been a lot of people worried about me, I guess, and I'm just trying to let everybody know. I did not post this publicly on my. Yeah, exactly, Freedom Dove. Trump was trolling the media. Trump loves trolling everybody. It's funny the people that can't see through that. But I just yeah, he didn't say to ingest anything. I know, Freedom Dove. But so anyway, we have 9 people in the room. We have two thumbs up, guys. If you hit that thumbs up, I really appreciate it. It helps the video and the YouTube algorithm. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I made a post on my Facebook today saying that I would be having a podcast tonight at 7 p.m. I'm a little late. I apologize for that. I've been having all kinds of technical issues because I literally had to set all this back up. So if you're just joining us, I'll run back through what I started. This is not my office. I had to move out of my office. My office rented out, so I've had to move out of my office, and I had to move over into my boss's office, Serena. So now I'm in one corner of Serena's office, and her desk and everything is way over there. But yeah, I'm in my boss's office now. My office actually rented out, so I had to get out of it. I'm still moving stuff out of there. But for those of you that are just joining us, I am letting everybody know publicly that I do have COVID-19. I have been sick. I've been really sick. So that's one reason nobody heard from me. I've been under the weather, dealing with COVID-19. Hey, Matilda. Hi, Rav. Just hit the thumbs up. My internet is all screwed today, so hope I can stay on. I hope you can stay on too. Good to see all you guys. I missed you guys. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done a podcast. Literally just haven't felt like sitting at my desk. So just was off social media, and you got all the people fighting about the coronavirus, whether it's real, everybody wanting to open everything back up and go back to work. And since I'm dealing with the coronavirus, for all of you guys that are ready to go back to work, I got a question for you, because I know it's some of the people in this room that are ready to open everything back up. My question to you guys is, and I think there's going to be a protest here in Huntington Beach or here in Southern California. So what I want to know is, am I invited? Because I am positive with coronavirus, and I want to go, because I want to spread the Rona. If you guys are ready to go, you should deal with what I'm dealing with. I shouldn't be the only one to have to suffer. So if you guys are ready to go, I'm ready to go. So if anybody knows of a protest that there is anywhere here in Southern California, please let me know, because I'm going to go. I'm quarantined here. I've not left my office or my truck. That's the only places I've been. But if there's going to be a protest, I'm going to be the first one there. You guys just let me know where it's going to be, because I want to shake hands. I'm going to get a sign, and I'm going to write the COVID-19 ambassador, vote for me, the COVID-19 ambassador for 2020. Shake my hand and vote for me, because I want you guys to vote for me. If you guys are all ready to go back to work and nobody's worried about the corona, I'm not worried about it either. Let's do it. Yeah. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. I mean, if we're ready to go, let's go. All of us that have it, all of us people that have the coronavirus, why should we be stuck quarantining ourselves? Why? We should be able to get out there with everybody else too. If we're ready to go, we shouldn't be locked away, or we shouldn't have to be responsible and lock ourselves away from everybody else. If everybody else is ready to get out there in the public, I'm ready to get out there in the public too. So if there's going to be a protest, let me know, because I'm there. Let's see here. Random Nomad says, let's see, the alcohol. Let's go out to Joshua. Joshua, the alcohol will work. My coworkers do the daily, and nobody has caught the virus yet. And yes, we're wearing face masks too. Also, can wash your hands with it too, no more than twice a day. Thanks, Joshua. I appreciate that info, buddy. Freedom Dove says, are you taking anything for it? There are a few things you can take to knock it out. No, I'm not taking anything for it, Freedom Dove. The only thing I have is some bear. I have like some bear that's like 500 milligrams. They're over the counter bear, but it's for your back. And it's like 500 milligrams, but it's just pain stuff. And then I have aspirin. I don't take Tylenol. I would take Tylenol, but I never buy Tylenol, because Tylenol is really bad for your kidneys. Like people, they try to overdose on Tylenol and they don't know this. There's people that'll take too many Tylenol that are trying to commit suicides, kind of. Maybe they're not, but they take like enough Tylenol to be, they'll take like 7 or 8 Tylenol. 12 Tylenol are fatal. And even if you don't die, what people don't understand is they will ruin your kidneys. So several years back, I had a a girl that I was dating, and we had stopped dating, but she ended up taking like a half a bottle of Tylenol and went into the hospital, into the ER, and they pumped her stomach. And then after they pumped her stomach, they had to immediately put her on some that kidney dialysis thing or whatever because her kidneys weren't functioning. And they were saying that she would probably need a transplant because of the Tylenol had ruined her kidneys. And the scary thing is people don't realize if the Tylenol ruins your kidneys, and if you try to commit suicide and the Tylenol ruins your kidneys, you were put at the very end of the transplant list because you ruined your kidneys yourself. Is that right? Yeah. So I used to be big into Tylenol, but I kind of quit taking Tylenol after that. I don't take any medication, to be honest with you. I don't take, if I can get by without even taking a pain, if I'm in a lot of pain and if it's not more than I can bear, I won't take any medication. Let's see. Freedom Dove says you do need sunshine. Yeah, I've heard that. Random Nomad said had it. I'm asymptomatic. Yeah, a lot of people are asymptomatic, and I thought I was too. Random Nomad. The first thing I've been dealing with this like a month. The first thing that tipped me off that I had the coronavirus, and I kind of had my head stuck in the sand and just didn't believe that was what was wrong with me. But the first thing, I would wake up with a sore throat, with a dry throat, and then I had that happen. And then the next thing that happened was my taste and my smell went away completely. Like I can't smell anything, nothing. Like I have some Lysol spray, and if I spray that Lysol, I have to like spray it and then like get my face like right into the mist of the Lysol so I can smell any of it. So that was the first thing that tipped me off. And then the third and the last thing was, well, the next thing. So here was my symptoms. The first thing is I was waking up in the middle of the night sometimes with this dry, sore throat. I never really got a cough. Sometimes when I talk too much, my throat will get dry and I'll have to cough, but I never really had like a dry cough, but I did have a dry throat. But since I didn't have a cough, I didn't chalk that up to being coronavirus or COVID-19. And then, the next thing that happened was again my smell. I lost all of my smell and my taste. I can't smell or taste anything. I mean, it's crazy, like nothing. Um, and then the next thing was chronic fatigue. Like just to get up out of my chair and go do something just seems like I mean, it's like climbing a mountain. So the chronic fatigue for me has been the worst. And it's gotten hot here in California now, so it's like 90 degrees, and they say that sweating it out, that's it's good for you, like a sauna. And I will tell you guys that it's made my life very miserable because I had the air conditioner on hit in here, and I had to turn the air conditioner off to do the show because it's too loud. And the heat does not feel good, if that makes sense. It's not soothing at all to be hot. And I did go outside because I have to go outside and walk my dog a couple of times a day, and it's not fun either to have to go outside and walk my dog. Um, let's get back in here in the chat, see what everybody's got to say. Matilda says, "I'm so sorry you're not well. Was worried about you. Good to see you. I'm staying put." Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you, Matilda. Um, Leah Nortz, that's what I thought. We need to have a mega rally, free mega hats and free Lysol shots. Random Nomad says acetaminophen. I don't know what that is. I guess it's a drug. Freedom Dove says look for oil, orango, olive leaf extract, and higher quality colored silver. These are all antiviral. Tylenol is only masking symptoms. Yeah, I agree with that, Freedom Dove. Step Van Dan. Hey, welcome, Step Van Dan. Good to see you, buddy. We have 12 people in the room. Hello and a big hugs at 6 foot from Minnesota. Vitamin D is produced in our bodies by sun exposure. Yes, I very true, Freedom Dove. I had the rash that they say you can get. Okay, Random Nomad, that's what let me know that I actually had coronavirus. I have not been tested. So I can't say absolutely 100% I have coronavirus, but I can say 100% I have coronavirus because I have the symptoms. And the fifth thing that let me know that that's what it was I started to have feet cramps in the middle of the night. My feet would just start cramping, like insane cramps in my feet. And that's not a symptom of the coronavirus. You look that up, you won't find that anywhere about your feet cramping. So I don't know if anybody else is having that or if that's just me. But I would take my when I would have these cramps, I would have to rub the cramps out of my feet, and they were so painful. And then one morning when my feet were cramping and I was rubbing my feet, I noticed that my ankles were both swollen up, like I had sprained ankles. They were like literally you couldn't see my ankle bone because my legs were so swollen up. And that is not, you don't find that as a symptom of the coronavirus either. But then a day or so later, my ankles had went down and they weren't swollen anymore. But I noticed that my toes, all of my toes were swollen up in red. And I didn't know that was a symptom of the coronavirus. I hadn't read that. So I went to WebMD to see what the deal was with my red swollen toes. And sure enough, it come back that that's a symptom, one of the new symptoms of the coronavirus. So that's what got me. And that's how I figured it out that I actually have coronavirus. As far Freedom Dove is going anywhere, I'm not going anywhere. I can't go get these extracts. I can't go get anything because I'm one person. And I'm kind of, people don't know this about me. I know a lot of people. I mean, I know celebrities. I know A-list celebrities. I know a lot of people, but I'm very much a loner. So I don't depend on other people. So I don't really have a lot of people that I can call just to come do something for me, if that makes sense. Hey, Bobby June Live. Good to see you, buddy. So Bobby June there, I've known that guy since, God, what, Bobby, probably 2008 or 9 in Long Beach, California. And Bobby has a live show that's every night, like at 8 p.m., right, Bobby? And he just got started with his live stream, and it's actually pretty entertaining. He's a eccentric guy, but I enjoy watching his randomness on his show from time to time. Oh, and the other thing is, the last time Bobby was in here, just as I left the show, he hit me with a $20 super chat. So, or $19.99 super chat. So I want to say thank you so much, Bobby June, for that. I really do appreciate that, man. And I want to also let everyone know is on today's the 24th. On the 21st, I literally just got paid from YouTube, and like that money from YouTube used to just be, it was so minuscule to me that I didn't even pay much attention to it. I'll tell you how much it was. It's $320 is what I got paid. And I haven't done a live stream or a video in like 2 weeks. And, but it was really nice to get that money for a change. I was really, I wasn't expecting it to be as much as it was, but for some reason, my other channel that a lot of you guys know me from, Nomad News, everybody is watching that channel. I'm getting a ton of subscribers over there, and I haven't done a video on that channel in 2 or 3 months, maybe longer, 4 months. But I guess because everybody's locked inside, the videos are getting recommended or something. So I'm getting a ton of traffic on the other channel. Let's see. Freedom Dove says, damn, Rav, I'll send you some herbal medicines if I had your address. I buy my stuff from Amazon. Oh, you can order that stuff off of Amazon? I could probably do that. I have gotten a couple Amazon packages. But I've tried to be careful because I try not to be around people, or I try not to, and it's kind of funny because when they were showing my office, I was not planning on this. You know, everything's supposed to be shut down. And then all of a sudden I get a text from Serena, and she tells me that the landlord's coming in 10 minutes to look at my office. I was like, oh shit. I thought everybody was shut down, but he was showing it to rent it out to somebody else. And so they just come right on in. I'm like, come on in. If you want to come in, I started to put a thing on the door saying, enter at your own risk, coronavirus or COVID-19 contaminated. But then I was like, nope, forget it. Come on in, look, have a look around. So if they get it, that's their own problem. I'm not worried about it. I'd done everything I could, just staying in my office and staying in my truck. And, they're not supposed to be out showing offices at this time. Everything's supposed to be shut down, but nothing in this complex is shut down except for us, which pisses me off too. Um, Random Nomad says, had it on my hand. Freedom Dove, I never go out to buy my supplements. Thank goodness for UPS. So I'll have to try to contact you, Freedom Dove. I'll see if I can get a list together of maybe some stuff I can order from Amazon. Yeah, OJ has vitamin C. Hey man, Bobby June says you deserve it. I thank you so much for that, Bobby. I appreciate it. So you guys be sure to check out Bobby June's show. He's got a live show. What time are you going? You changed your hours. Used to be at 7 p.m., but now are you every night at 8 p.m., Bobby? Random Nomads. So drink so that you would help a bit with vitamin C intake. Yeah, I'll try to get some orange juice. Hey Jim, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you, Jim Brooks. Freedom Dove says I could send you some of my homemade hand sanitizer. I appreciate it, guys. Please do, Rev. I'm my own doctor and know where there are good medicines. Thank you, Freedom Dove. I appreciate that. Matilda says that's how I found this channel. You found this channel from my other channel, correct, Matilda? So how's everybody else doing in this pandemic? I know there's a lot of stuff going on. That's another reason I basically just stayed unplugged, because one thing that I do want to say for those of us that do have the coronavirus or that has COVID-19 that are living with it, nothing infuriates me more than seeing people talking about that it's no worse than the flu. This doesn't feel anything like the flu. It feels absolutely nothing like the flu. I've had some really horrible cases of flu, and it feels nothing like the flu. It's hard to explain it. You just don't feel right. It's really hard to explain. Luckily for me, I thought I was asymptomatic because even though I'd lost my taste and my smell, I really didn't get sick. Like I have friends of mine that have this virus that are really deathly ill, like can't get out of bed and that kind of stuff. And I've not done, I mean, I sleep a lot, but I mean, I get up and do stuff and then I lay down when I get too exhausted. But what I will say is I have this chronic fatigue that I can't shake. And that was one of the things that really tipped me off that I had the virus, because usually I can just get up and go about my business and get stuff done. And I will tell you, having to move, there's nobody to help me move out of my office. So I had to do this myself. So it has been, I'm not going to say it's been torture, but just to get up and do something simple it takes a lot out of you just to do that. And I've literally had to move all of my furniture and move everything. And now I've gotten pretty much everything, all the furniture moved out of my office, but there's still over 300 boxes that we have that's blanks for t-shirt blanks that are still in my office. And I literally have to move all of those. I still have a bunch of boxes. I had to clean up the storeroom out here in our shipping area. And I've got to move a bunch of boxes off of the stairwell here, because we used to use the stairwell here. There's a stairwell right here. And we covered that stairwell up with boxes because we ran out of room. So I'm going to have to use that door now because I'm losing the door to my office. I won't have that access anymore. So I've been having to move boxes from the stairwell. And it took me literally half the or all day today moving boxes off that stairwell trying to get back to the door. So I will have an access point to get back in my office and get out of my office or get out of the office here because I'm going to have to turn the keys into that office that's just right next door to us. Um, Random Nomad says blood type plays into it. Yes, it does. Random Nomad. I'm just very thankful that I'm not crazy sick. I mean, I'm sick, but I'm not like knock on wood. I'm going to knock on wood here on this one because you know that my boss. A lot of you guys know my boss Serena. Uh, my boss Serena Vo. Um, she is in Indiana right now, and she had to take off and leave LA, and she rented a car and drove 3 days to Indiana, like going on a month ago. And because her father and her mother both have COVID-19, and her father was in intensive care for 3 weeks. He just came out of intensive care, and she left almost a month ago, and she's been gone for almost a month. And it's so funny because when she was here was I that was when I was getting my sore throat. It was like in March. And she asked me like the last day before she left, I was helping her gather some stuff up. And she looked at me and she goes, Rab, are you sick? I was like, no, 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 I'm good. So this thing, I have a couple other friends that this thing is dragging out. Like it's not something that's going away in like 4 or 5 days. Uh, this thing has been dragging out with me for a while, and it took me a long time before I actually got full on where I felt like I'm sick now, if that makes sense. Freedom Dove, no, Serena is not sick. And what is crazy is I have it, and Serena was around me, and I know I had it when she was around me. I told her she's the only person that knows I've had it. She's the only person that I've let know. And I know, and I was scared to death because I was afraid when I figured out that I had it, I was scared to death that I gave it to her because I did see her when I think I was just beginning to get it myself, and she was leaving. And we were closing down here when we did that last order of hoodies. Um, I ended up being late that day because I wasn't feeling well when I woke up, but I just chalked it up to, like I didn't get enough sleep or something. And she asked me that day, like we were sorting those hoodies, and she looked at me and she goes, Rob, are you okay? Are you sick? And I was like, no, 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 I'm good. I'm good. And I had a little cold or a little cough at that time, but I just didn't chalk it up to being Rona. And so this whole thing is just drug out and drug out and drug out. And I just didn't, I just never put two and two together because most days were good days, but every now and then I'd feel a little crappy. And then the other thing that would get me is like I would be sitting at my desk and just going about my business. And all of a sudden, I would just have this deathly ill feeling come over me. And I would literally just recline my seat back and just sleep for like 5 or 10 minutes until it would pass. And then I would like go, boy, that's kind of weird. So Freedom Dove says, don't get tested. They will contact trace you. If you do, it's part of yes, I'm not freaking getting tested. That's exactly right. I'm not getting tested. Yeah, I'm not getting tested. I've already been offered to be tested. I know people, a couple other people that I've talked to today, when I finally let the news break that I actually do have it. I had a couple of people tell me that they could help me get tested if I wanted to get tested, and I don't need to get tested. I know I have it. I mean, I told one of them, they're like, well, if you haven't gotten tested, how do you actually know you have it? I'm like, well, I have, what is it, cancer or something? Because I have something wrong with me, but it pretty much with all the symptoms, they're right on line with what you read about the symptoms being for COVID-19. So I pretty much figure it's COVID-19, not cancer. But anyway, back to Serena. I keep getting sidetracked. Serena does not have it. She rented a car and drove straight through in 3 days to Indiana because her dad got sick like that. Like one day he was fine, and the next day he was having some trouble breathing. He was rushed to the hospital by ambulance and was in intensive care. Went straight into intensive care and went straight into a coma. So I know Serena's a very private person, so I don't talk about her that much, but I literally didn't think he was going to make it. I know that the doctors had a talk with Serena about they didn't think he would make it, that he had much of a chance. He's an elderly gentleman, so just didn't think he was going to make it. And he was on a ventilator in a coma for 3 weeks, and then they had to cut his throat open because you can only be on a ventilator for so long. So they had to cut his throat open and do a tracheotomy on him because he was getting some kind of infection from the ventilator. So they took him off the vent and did a tracheotomy and was breathing, and he's got a feeding tube and all these different things. I don't understand all that medical jargon, but I just know I didn't. If I would have had to bet money, I would have bet money that I didn't think he would make it. I'm so happy for Serena that he did because I was so worried about her because she's had a really rough year. So I was really worried about her. Um, let's see. Let's get back in the chat here. I'm going to turn my screen, guys. I apologize. Actually, what I should do is move this. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to try to move this chat around a little bit so I can see it a little better. And it just shrunk on me. Great. Yeah, I'm not gonna no chips either. Freedom Dove says China is such a lying piece of crap. They know what's going on and they're not telling us. Yes, yes. China is not our friends. The whole world should boycott China. Nobody should buy anything from China. And I understand. I have two girls because a lot of you guys know that I like Asian women. So I know two girls that are actually from China, and I've dated both of them. And I shouldn't say I've dated. I've went on a date with both of them, and they're just as sweet as they can be. But one of them is still very, even though she actually lives in Canada, she lived in Canada before moving to the States. She's still very, she's still very loyal to China. She still talks nothing but great about China. And, but it's not the people, you know what I mean? But it's the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP. So, all these people that are getting irritated about Trump calling it the China virus, we should call it the CCP. That's what a lot of the Europeans are calling it, the CCP virus, the China Communist Party virus, uh, because China could have saved a lot of people. A lot of people have died because of China and all the stuff that they've covered up. So China's no friend to us. I don't know why so many people are like trying to protect China, or they're all upset or afraid we're gonna offend the Chinese or something. F the Chinese, dude. They're not our friends. I mean, we'll be lucky if we don't go to war over this eventually. Leah Nort says it's the Trump virus. Random Nomad said, I just heard it was made in North Carolina University. Yeah, there's a whole lot of misinformation going on around. Freedom Dove says ventilators are programmed for respiratory failure, but they're really dying from oxygen. Yeah, that's true. Deprivation with modified genes of SARS. Yeah, I'm not sure if I believe that or not. Random Nomad. Pretty sure it came out of China. I mean, if it didn't come out of China, let's explore that. If it didn't come out of China, so how did we do this? We sent somebody that was infected to China because it blew up in China before it blew up anywhere. And there's a lot of viruses that have come out of China. Like every freaking pandemic that's happened in the last, except for the Ebola virus, every pandemic has come out of China. So now all of a sudden this new one's coming out of the United States. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know. Maybe Ambo Life, did they abandon us already? Oh, I get what you're saying. We may have invented it here and sold it to China. Yeah, we may have made it here and sold it to China, but they let it out of their lab. The containment leak. Yeah, if that's the truth, if that actually turns out to be the truth, there should be some people that goes to prison for that. We shouldn't be selling anything like that to China. Why that doesn't even make sense. The China is not our friend. If you don't know what's going on in the South China Sea, look it up on YouTube. China's been trying to bait us into a war for the last 5 years. So why would we be selling them a virus that's can contaminate and shut down the whole world? If that turns out to be true, but there's so many freaking it was all part of a globalist plan. Yeah, I don't know if I believe that or not, Freedom Dove. The funny thing about it is one of the funny things about this whole thing to me is I used to be a conspiracy theorist back when nobody was a conspiracy theorist. I read a book back in the 90s called The Pale White Horse by Robert Cooper. William Cooper, I'm sorry, by William Cooper. And yeah, it's a great book, but it's all about conspiracy. And that really jump started me into conspiracy. And I remember my wife and everybody I would talk to them about these conspiracies, and like they didn't care. Nobody cared. Like in the 90s, nobody cared. And what I've learned is now everybody's a conspiracy theorist. There's more conspiracy theorists than there is non-conspiracy theorists. It's crazy. And it took this virus to show that. Hey, JBK, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, buddy. Jim Brooks says, hey, everyone, don't forget to give Rav a thumbs up on the live stream. Jim Brooks, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that so much. We still have 12 people in the room. I plan on just doing an hour today, guys. It's 41 minutes we're into this. Yeah, it'll be interesting, though, to see if we ever find out what the truth really is. The term conspiracy theorist was made up by the CIA to cover their own dirty deeds. That is very true, Freedom Dove. The one that really got me is a conspiracy that you never hear about anymore. But I read about this in the 90s. And guys, it was probably like 94 or 95. Now, granted, I'm gonna butcher this conspiracy because I don't remember all the details to it completely. Um, Watch Out of the Shadows documentary on YouTube, very entertaining. I think I've seen that, Freedom Dove. Uh, people can't school me on conspiracy theories. When I talk about conspiracy theories, like I've been doing this before Alex Jones, before anybody knew who Alex Jones was. William Cooper was the original Alex Jones. Before there was Alex Jones, there was William Cooper. Look him up on YouTube. Now, William Cooper was the real deal. Now, Alex, I've watched and listened to Alex for years too. Like I said, before anybody knew who he was, people don't even know that Alex Jones used to follow George Bush Jr. around Texas and troll him and mock him at his own rallies and stuff when George Bush Jr. was the governor of Texas. And Alex would go around and literally Alex would get thrown out of George Bush Jr.'s rallies because Alex Jones was calling out George Bush Jr. for all the bullcrap he was involved in. Yes, William Cooper, I've known him for years. Yeah. So William, he actually predicted 9/11 like 5 months before it ever happened. And he named Osama bin Laden at the time, who I'd never even heard of. I didn't even know who Osama bin Laden was, but I was listening to one of Alex Jones, like a podcast. He had like he did like a podcast back before anybody knew what a podcast was. And you could just listen to his audio files. And he was talking about Osama bin Laden, that there was some major catastrophe going to happen and that it would be blamed on Osama bin Laden. You can go find this on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and Google or look in the search bar and put Robert Cooper predicts 9/11, and you can listen to it. And it was done before 9/11 happened, like 4 or 5 months before 9/11 actually happened. So yeah, Robert Cooper was the original Alex Jones. He is the real deal. And he said he would be killed by the government. He was scared of the government. What happened to Robert Cooper? He was murdered by the government. They killed him. But anyway, back to the conspiracy theory that I was going to butcher. So this is a conspiracy theory that not too many people know about. And it's not a conspiracy theory because this actually happened. So, and I can't remember what country it was. So bear with me. It was like Grenada, or it was maybe some South American country or Central American company or country. I can't remember exactly what country it was. So let's just say it wasn't Panama. It was, I can't remember what country it was. But anyway, this country uh, was in a civil war. I don't know, Bolivia. I can't remember. Anyway, let's just say it was Bolivia. I don't think it was Bolivia, but let's just say it was Bolivia. So this country was in a civil war with each other. So, and it was the government fighting basically the farmers. And the farmers rose up and became rebels and started fighting the government because the government was trying to steal the farmers' land. And the reason the government was trying to steal the farmers' land is because Coca-Cola and these other American corporations were trying to buy the land to build Coca-Cola facilities because they could have cheap labor in the country. So Coca-Cola was trying to buy this big, huge plot of land and the farmers wouldn't sell. So the government went in and just arrested them all in the middle of the night and charged them with some BS charge. And so that made all the other farmers rise up, and then they went to war with their government as rebels. So they were having this big battle. And then come to find out, our CIA was backing their government because we wanted the assets, or we wanted the land to be able to build our facilities over there so we could have the cheap labor. So the government, the Bolivian government, or whatever this country was going in and arresting all of these farmers, and then all of these farmers rose up and became like a military rebel group. And then the government of this country would find them and weed them out and then arrest them. So a lot of times they would arrest them as parents, and they called them, what do you call them, rebels, or anarchists, or whatever they were. But they would label them as like traitors of the government, kind of like what China does as well. But anyway, so this government of this country, when it all came out, they were actually being backed by the United States. We were given their government money to actually arrest these people and find them and arrest them so that the government could take their land. And these people were just poor farmers. So as this war raged on, there ended up being all of these orphans because their parents would get killed by the government. They were fighting, like they became like a guerrilla warfare. These farmers that rose up became like a guerrilla section that was, fighting their own government. And so parents would get killed. So you ended up having all of these orphanages from the parents, or the parents would go to prison. The government would come and get them in the night if they found out that they were, who the rebels were. They would come bust in their door, arrest them, and throw them in prison. And then their kids would go to an orphanage. So the way this came out was this little girl was in high school. She was like a junior in high school, and she had been adopted by American parents in Bolivia. And come to find out, her farmer parents were still alive. They had been in prison. So after like 6 or 7, or no longer than that, she was a little girl when the parents went to prison. She was like a baby. She was like 3 years old. So the parents went to prison, and they didn't get out of prison until the little girl was 10 or 11 years old. Well, the little girl, they used to take Americans over there to these orphanages, because this crazy war was killing all of these people. And there was all of these kids to adopt. So all of these rich Americans were going over there adopting these little Bolivian babies and bringing them back to the United States. And then come to find out, this girl that had been adopted when she was like 3 or 4 years old, her parents get out of prison like 15 years later, and they want her back. So now there's this big international, what would you call it? God, what would you call that? Like a custody battle, this big international custody battle. Because when these poor farmers, the mother and the father were both alive. They said the government had said they'd been killed. The Bolivian government said they'd been killed, but they hadn't been killed. They'd been in prison for 15 years for fighting against the government as guerrillas. as hostiles against the government. So they had been in prison for 15 years. Well, when they got out, as soon as they got out, what they wanted was their little girl. Then come to find out their little girl had been adopted by some Americans that had brought her over here, and that had the Americans had had her since she was 3 years old, 3 or 4 years old. She's the only parents. They're the only parents that she knew of. And then because of an international, what would you call it? Like an international, the real parents from Bolivia wanted her back. So there was this custody battle going on, and the parents, her biological parents from Bolivia, wanted her back, and the little girl didn't want to go back. She doesn't even remember Bolivia. She was 3 or 4 years old when she got adopted. So it was a disaster, and nobody even knew about this. And then you had these nuns. I can't remember what the nuns were called, but there was a whole group of nuns that were taking care of these children, and it was a mess. But the funny thing about it is nobody even knew anything about that as Americans. Like, I remember explaining it to my wife at the time, and my wife had no idea what I was. She was like, "That's not true." And then I showed her, like, I made her read some of the stuff. I said, "Look at this, read this. This is what the CIA has been doing. Read this." And that was the first thing that really opened my eyes to some of the evil shit that our government does as well. So as much as I point the finger at China, we're just as guilty, or if not more guilty, because that just absolutely blew my mind. Let's see. Ambo Life says, yeah, the USA has done many atrocities in other countries. Yes, we have. Those orphans have become victims of human trafficking. Yep. What country hasn't done that besides the USA? Watch Out of the Shadows and you will see how that ends. Yeah. I know all about the NWO and the New World Order, and it's funny because now Bill Gates is the villain of all villains now, which is so funny to me. I watched Alex Jones the other day. I watched his live stream. I haven't watched Alex in a while, but I decided to watch Alex's live stream, and he was ranting and raving about the 5G thing. And it was so funny because, and he was talking about Bill Gates, and he's talking about the 5G and this and that. And I just had to laugh a little bit because I used to be so caught up in that kind of stuff. And the funny thing is it was 3G. Alex very first got on the whole crazy G thing when it was 3G. And he wasn't talking about Bill Gates at that time. He was talking about Rockefeller, David Rockefeller. Well, for Alex Jones always has to have a boogeyman. Well, David Rockefeller was the boogeyman for years for Alex Jones until David Rockefeller died. So it caught me by a surprise because I haven't been keeping up with conspiracy theories like I used to. And it caught me by surprise when all of a sudden everybody was hating Bill Gates, and Bill Gates wants the world depopulated, and Bill Gates wants to be he wants to own the virus. He has the rights and the patent to the virus, and then he has the patent to the vaccine and all this stuff. That is the exact same spill for anybody that's buying that. That is the exact same spill that Alex Jones sold when David Rockefeller was alive and 3G came out. Verbatim. There's no difference in it at all. And even the live stream that I watched the other day, Alex even said 2G, 3G, 4G, and now 5G. He went through all the G's and how it's progressing and getting so much worse. And yeah. Freedom Dove says 5G is a real problem. It's like a directed energy weapon. Yeah, I don't believe that, Freedom Dove, at all. Hooray for Jose. What's going on, brother? Good to see you, man. Another personal friend of mine. Yeah, I don't believe that, Freedom Dove, about the 5G. It's just, if that's the case, why aren't we all dead from 3G? Alex Jones said 3G was going to kill us. Alex Jones showed all of these coffins that were like in Mississippi or Georgia or somewhere. There was these filled with all of these thousands of coffins back when 3G was released. We were all supposed to be in the coffins because they were going to depopulate the world down to 500 million because that's what David Rockefeller wanted, and the globalist. That still hasn't happened. Even with COVID-19, it's not bringing the population down. It's not killing that many people. Most of the people are just sick like I am. Freedom Dove says it's not broadcast like other Gs, it's directed to your device. Yeah, but the thing that most people don't realize, Freedom Dove, so 5G is not near as powerful as 4G. Did you hear that? If anybody is listening to me, 5G, the new 5G that is coming out, is not near as powerful as 4G. 4G LTE is 100 times more powerful than 5G. And if anybody wants to bet some money on that, I'll put some money on it. I'll put $1,000 on it. The reason being, people don't understand this. Yes, 5G will run a lot faster than 4G, but it'll take one tower. It takes one tower to cover like it takes one tower to cover like 4 square miles. It'll take one tower for 4G to cover like 5 square miles. It may be 10 square miles. I can't remember. I'd have to look this up again. But you know how many towers it's going to take 5G to cover that same amount of area? It's going to take like 100 towers for 5G to cover that same 10 square miles that one tower of 4G can cover. Freedom Dove, they said the exact same thing about 3G. The exact same thing about 3G. You're basically rehashing. Go look it up. You can Google this stuff. Now, one funny thing though is I did do a Google search the other day because I wanted to pull up a bunch of old Alex Jones videos when he was talking about the 3G and the 3G being a different frequency, and the 3G was the globalist. That was they're going to be their thing to depopulate the world down to 500 million. I went to Alex Jones' website, InfoWars, and went through his website and went through Google looking for his old 3G videos. They've been scrubbed. They're not there. I found one. I ended up finding one of them and sent it to a friend of mine because he didn't believe me. He didn't believe Alex Jones had talked about 3G. So I found one video, and Alex Jones talked about 3G constantly for over a year. He probably had 200 or 300 videos talking about 3G. They're gone. You can't find them. You can find written stuff on InfoWars, but the videos are all gone. Yeah, I know it's not just Alex talking about it, but Alex is the one that was started all of this with the 3G. Yeah, I know EMFs. So Freedom Dove, yes, EMFs are not great for us. But what's so funny to me is so people are so scared of the EMFs. You're going to get more EMFs from the sun. You're going to get more EMFs from the sun, and what the other thing you're going to get way more EMFs from over a 5G tower is a freaking power line. Are you scared of power lines? Are people scared of power lines? They put out freaking 50 to 100, 200 or 300 times more than any cell phone tower. Yeah, I've read Natural News. I'm subscribed to Natural News, Freedom Dove. No, Alex Jones is not gone. He just got banned from all the, from YouTube and all the social media. But the thing about that is banning him just made him a martyr. He's just as popular as he ever was. We're at 58 minutes, guys. So we've got a couple more minutes here. I want to thank all you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. It's really good to catch up with everybody. And Freedom Dove, I'm not arguing with you. I don't know, we'll see, but I'm just saying that, yeah, Random Nomad, the 3G, Alex Jones started this whole 5G thing is nothing but the 3G thing being rehashed. 3G was the same thing. Alex Jones talked and talked and talked about the 3G. Nice to see you, Leah Nortz. Thank you, guys. I really, truly appreciate you guys tuning in. Freedom Dev says, I feel a lot of crap from this technology. I actually feel my phone ringing before it rings. I get a sharp zing in my head right before it rings. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. Electromagnetic fields, But see, that was another thing that Alex Jones said with the 3G. He said that there was the electromagnetic field in your phone was going to give us all give us all brain tumors. And I'm sure there's been some people that's gotten brain tumors from their phones, but it hasn't been in mass numbers like Alex Jones said it was going to be. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it, buddy. Somebody said, do you need to get away on a road trip? Is that you, Leah Nortz? So before I get off here, it's 1 hour, but I have one little tidbit of news for you guys. No, I don't think electromagnetic fields are good for us either, Freedom Dove, but um, I know it's low grade like pesticide poison. I think pesticide is a lot worse for us than electromagnetic fields. Electromagnetic fields are everywhere. We're walking through them continuously. I don't know that they're good for us, but I don't think they're going to really shorten our lifespan. I mean, power lines have been around for 100 or how long has power lines been around? 60, 70 years. And people are still running around. Like I have a picture of a power line where there's literally like 50 lines running off one pole. And it's like at the corner. Rav, I went to Chernobyl and many of my friends and family thought big was nuts. Chernobyl. So anyway, that's all interesting stuff. I'm going to go ahead and jump off that subject. And I have one quick thing to mention before I wrap this up. And this is a long shot, guys. I'm not sure it's going to happen, but there's a possibility that I'm going to trade Bertha for a sailboat in Florida. And if I trade Bertha for the sailboat, I'm probably going to sell the Snap-on truck too. And if I do that, and my Harley, and if I do that, I may not sell my Harley, but if I do that, if I sell Bertha or if I trade Bertha for the sailboat, I will be moving on to the sailboat in Florida, possibly. And I will be living on a sailboat full time. That is, that's actually what, I've been wanting to live on a sailboat now for a long time. So, that was my original plan before I even got into van life. Was I've been looking at sailboats. You can go back on this channel from 2 or 3 years ago, and there was a boat that I almost bought. I came this close to buying it. So you can go back on this channel. As a matter of fact, hold on, guys. Let's do it this way. I will go find the video for you guys. That'll be fun. Let me find the video for you guys, and I will so you can watch this vlog that I did when I went to look at the sailboat to buy. And I had the money to buy the sailboat at the time, but if I would have bought that sailboat, I did not have enough money to, I didn't really have enough money for anything else once I bought the boat. And the guy was super nice and the boat was really nice, but it wasn't quite the boat that I was looking for. So at the last minute, I decided not to buy the boat. And, I've always kind of regretted that. I don't regret it because it wasn't the exact boat that I wanted, but it was like the only boat of that size at the time that I could afford. Because I want a boat that's 35 to 40 feet. I don't want a little tiny sailboat. I want a decent sized sailboat. So I'm looking at 35 to 40 feet boats, and I would take a 32, 34, but if I can get into like a 40, 42 foot boat, that's what I would really like. So it was 3 years ago, 3, 4 years ago that I was looking at that boat. Let's see if I can.
Own a business? You're going to want to hear this.
If you own a business, you need next in.
Going to share the link with you guys so you can watch the video if you'd like to. And there we go. So I just shared the link, guys, if you want to see that boat video. But yeah, so if all goes well, but I'm not getting my hopes up about it. I mean, I have so many other things going on right now. I just got to get my health back is the major thing. But I am actively looking at sailboats again. Jim Brooks says, yes, I remember you talking about that. Yep. Um, I really do want a sailboat to live aboard. And at this point, since it's probably the best time, because at this point, with everything so up in the air, I don't need to be tied to Los Angeles anymore. So I just need to get rid of the only thing that's tying me down here right now is Bertha. And if I get rid of Bertha, then I can pretty much go anywhere I want. But I can't leave town until I get rid of Bertha. All right, guys, that's 5 minutes after an hour. I want to thank you guys one more time for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. I know we still have 12 people in the room, but I'm pretty fatigued. So I'm going to have to call it a night. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Thank you, Amy Preston. So good to see you. JBK, good to see you. Jim Brooks, buddy, always good to see you. Freedom Dove, it's always a pleasure. Random Nomad, thank you, buddy, for showing up. Matilda, thank you so much. Good to see you so much. Good to see you so much. It was so good to see you. Leah Nortz, hopefully I'm not leaving any of you guys out. My friend Bobby June live, if you want to jump over there and check out his stream. Let's see. Hooray for Jose. I don't know if you're still in here. Thank you so much for stopping in, buddy. Amy Preston. All right, guys. Thank you so much. This has been my broadcast of the American Nomad for April 24th, Friday, April 24th, 2020. And until the next time, Matilda says, boat slips are really expensive in SoCal. My dad had one for years. I loved it, but the price of renting slips got too high. Yeah, that's why I would not be, hey, Badge, man, good to see you, Badge. I would not stay in SoCal probably. I mean, I would probably move down south to Mexico maybe, or somewhere else, maybe Florida. Yeah, boat slips here in Southern California are super expensive. Like there's a boat that I want to look at and the slip is $900 a month. But that's still a lot cheaper than any place that you're going to rent in California. $900 a month is not that bad. But it is. When you can get, you can get a boat slip like in other places like $350 a month. Yep. Leonore says FU Badge. Good night, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Take care. Peace out. Take care of yourself, guys. Be safe. Social distancing. I did all that and I still got coronavirus. So, Detox D. So Detox D, do you have a sailboat? I see you have a sailboat in your avatar there. Do you actually have a boat? Because I really want to I want to contact some people or, talk to some people that actually have a boat as well. Detox D says, I wish. Yeah, me too, Detox D. Yeah. But I think I have everything set up right now that if I really want one, I think right now is the time to get one. Just sell my Snap-on truck, get rid of Bertha, or trade Bertha for the boat in Florida. Anyway, guys, I will talk to you later. That's going to do it. Have a great night, guys. Yeah, I used to have a runabout when I lived in Texas. I had like a 32-foot runabout. That was a really nice boat. Oh, yeah, Roman Reagan, she does have a boat, a sailboat. That's exactly right. I forgot about that. Thank you, Freedom Dove. Freedom Dove knows everything. All right, guys, take care. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.